The friendly, caring Bobby pounding the beats has always been the hallmark of British policing.
Fantastic.
Pleasure's been all right, my friend.
And has even been immortalised on film by the fictional Dixon of Dock Green.
Good evening, all.
Today's neighbourhood police teams continue that tradition, but also tackle the root causes of crime head-on by targeting known hotspots,
Unlucky.
stamping down on antisocial behaviour,
Arresting you for a public order offence.
and waging war on illegal drugs.
I can smell cannabis already.
In this new series of Neighbourhood Blues, we follow the police men and women of Somerset as they continue their quest to make our streets a safer place. Coming up, police are surrounded on a troublesome estate. The neighbourhood team call in immigration to target a Chinese takeaway.
When did you come to England?
And a stabbing sparks a police manhunt.
here.
Combating urban crime in Weston-super-Mare, particularly offences involving drugs and violence, is an ongoing problem. Every now and again, the neighbourhood police like to hit the streets in force on a dedicated day of action to crack down on offenders.
And today in Weston-super-Mare, neighbourhood officers are being briefed for one of these special days of action.
We've continued to see a increase in drug-related offences and violent offences. However, the burglaries have gone significantly down.
The majority of the time, neighbourhood officers work in uniform, but today it's strictly plain clothes, so they can more easily spot suspicious activity.
With operations free flowing today, it is going to be a case of what we see and then what we go with. And these are the opportunities we need to sort of pounce upon. Each area is going to have a predominant area to patrol, and as soon as someone sees something, then we can all move in onto one area.
Groups of small patrols will spread across Weston. And for Sergeant Mark Jenkinson, it's the only opportunity he gets to be invisible as a neighbourhood cop.
Operations like this, we tend to come together and have a larger, more dramatic impact. So today, everyone's in plain clothes and we're looking to be particularly proactive throughout the whole day.
Out on the street, Sergeant Colin Batchelor and Alice Durston have hardly left the station before they spot someone ahead.
You all right?
A man they know
Yeah,
is
can't fire
acting
a sec.
suspiciously.
You got anything on you shouldn't have on you? No.
They also know he's a drug user.
What is all this? Just
Paraphernalia, innit?
paraphernalia.
Inside the plastic bag are used syringes and powders, often mixed with heroin to make it more soluble. And although no drugs are found on the man, Colin can see he's a serious user.
You have a bad leg.
I was going to say, mate, this is not right down here, is it?
No, mate.
What have you got going on here?
It's a hospital, mate.
You are not in good shape with these. They are rock hard. You've been putting too many needles into it. Is that what's happened?
Yeah.
While Colin searches the drug user, he discovers a letter from a support charity which shows the man's trying to get clean.
And you've got an ad action appointment at 3 o'clock today, haven't you?
Yeah. What time is it?
3 o'clock. You're right for the minute.
Oh, thank God for that, because I need that. Thanks for telling me.
Colin takes the opportunity to talk about the drug crime in the area.
It's all getting a bit nasty around here, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of stabbings and that, innit? With everyone, innit? It's just crazy, innit?
And obviously that's a concern to us, that's a concern to
Well, yeah, definitely.
the community, that's a concern to the people that live here, etc.
There's been
You know?
loads of bill everywhere, isn't there?
Well,
They took me down the other day hard,
know.
man.
I know.
They come in force.
The guy obviously knows the risks involved with his habits.
You're not worried about anything?
No, no one come near me.
Not yet.
No one would they?
Why not?
I'd take them out. Really?
What with? Your socks?
People
Right.
know me, mate, yeah? It's
Yeah,
the
I-
vowels.
I know who you are.
Yeah.
I know who you are.
Do your own work, mate, yeah?
Right, go on then.
All right, I'm good.
That way to our action, all right?
Yeah.
See you later. 1 o'clock. You'll be early. His legs are minging. He's got nothing on him, probably because he's already had it. His eyeballs were on stalks, and he, unfortunately, is right at the bottom of the drugs food chain, if you want to call it that. And that's quite a good example of what can happen to you. But par for the course, I'm afraid. Come on in.
The day of action is gaining pace. Across town, Mark and his colleague John Phippen have just started their patrol, and already they're onto something.
Guy with a baseball cap and
I see him.
he's wanted, isn't he? And he wanted by you. Some bloke with a limp.
Just hang back into the patrol.
Is that him?
I'm not sure going to speak to him, I think. What's your name, mate?
But as soon as the man starts speaking,
Sorry, I'm not speaking English.
John realises he's got the wrong person.
He's a Polish gentleman anyway.
Okay.
It's fine, it's not you. I thought you were someone else. Don't worry.
All right.
Okay.
A few drinks?
More than a few.
Oh, yeah.
Already, innit?
Police work on local information and their instincts and take care to follow procedure.
What we've got to make sure that we do is that if we do stop someone or if we do engage with someone, it's done lawfully and properly. You know, we can't go on fishing trips, but certainly sometimes if you have a feel for something, sometimes it will pay off, sometimes it doesn't.
As each team gets in their stride on this day of action, an urgent call comes in from one of the units.
Is anybody available to put on the phone?
On the Bourneville estate, a uniformed officer and a PCSO have detained a teenager who's been riding around on a mobility scooter, which clearly isn't his. Some residents seem to be unhappy that police have stopped him and have surrounded the two men. Undercover patrols race to the estate to help them out.
4 units now, please. 4 boats.
As Colin arrives, Mark Stevens is holding on to the teenager found riding the mobility scooter. Mark explains how he and PCSO Justin have just been threatened by the group of youths.
What's going on, mate?
They're all talking about doing me. So one of them is, I don't know which it was, then they've had a go at Justin. Right. And then as a result, they've just caught him.
Yeah. Right.
The lad who assaulted Justin has just been chased across the road and rugby tackled to the ground. Justin's taken aback by the experience.
They've all kicked off and tried to stop him being arrested, and then it's gone from there.
With the crowd growing, Russ Millier needs to get the lad away before things escalate.
Ah, we love it! Cool.
The teenager on the mobility scooter was found to have cannabis on him. He was also found guilty of additional unrelated offences and was given a year's rehabilitation order. The scooter was taken back to its owner. And Mark now has the opportunity to give Colin the full picture.
They all got a bit arsey.
Yeah.
I started to move him. Then they started, one of them shoved me, but I didn't know which one it was from behind.
Sorry, I didn't realise there was two shoves. But
Justin then came across and got involved.
The lad who pushed Justin was charged with assault and given a 9-month referral order. And after Russ's rugby tackle, the lad will need some stain remover. The day of action has been a success.
It's been absolutely perfect and spot on, and we've caused some disruption. So yeah, we're happy. We're happy with the results today.
Most people who come to live in the UK from overseas arrive with all the right documents, but many others bypass the red tape completely. There could be more than 600,000 illegal immigrants living in the UK, and it's difficult to put a figure on how many of those are working here illegally too.
And in Bath, it's an issue for Chief Inspector Kevin Thatcher.
We look at the issue of illegal workers as potentially modern-day slavery. There's a lot of restaurants in Bath, there's a lot of licensed premises in Bath, there's lots of other businesses in Bath who may want to look to, for cheap labour.
Today, Bath's Neighbourhood team have called in one of their partners, Immigration Enforcement. to investigate 2 restaurants under suspicion of using illegal workers.
So the intention is...
Amy Avern is the lead officer.
I'll give you a bit of background as to how this restaurant came to our attention.
Amy has warrants to search an Indian restaurant and a Chinese takeaway.
Neil, you're covering the rear of the premises. We'll go for the main door, I'll execute the warrant, and then if you can just remain in this area with anybody that we encounter. Dean and Sean, you can just enter through the main door and then straight down to the basement.
They're acting on locals' reports.
We rely a lot on the community to give us information in regards to people working illegally, because without them, obviously we don't know, we just can't enter premises without the intel from them.
Immigration enforcement was set up by the Home Office to clamp down on anyone abusing immigration laws, whether by smuggling themselves in, forging documents, or overstaying their visa. And unscrupulous employers are also part of the problem. The first target is an Indian restaurant on the outskirts of the city. The officers head straight for the kitchen, where they find 6 men, 3 of whom are trying to escape through the back door. But the runaways don't get far, and all 6 men are detained.
We have now contained the premises, and now we've now seated the males who were encountered into a sterile area where we will begin to question them in regards to their immigration status.
The suspects are from Bangladesh, and after checking the information the men give against her database, it's obvious to Amy that their immigration status is in doubt. So they're taken into custody for further questioning.
These people are paid minimum wage. They aren't always given a wage. They are given food and accommodation in return for them to work. So it's cheap labour for the people that are actually working here.
If the men are found to be here illegally, they could be deported back to Bangladesh, and their employer fined £20,000 for each illegal worker. But some immigration warrants aren't so simple. The second call is on a Chinese takeaway in Bath city centre. It's important no one leaves the restaurant until the officers have established who works there. As they arrive, a man is walking out of the door, and experience tells them to escort him back in.
I'll show you the warrant, okay, sir?
Yeah.
The owner says the man's a customer.
You're buying food, are you? Okay, take a seat then, that's fine. So you've got a warrant issued by the courts to enter the premises, okay?
Yeah, so you need my ID, yeah?
I do indeed, yes.
It's late afternoon, and possibly the said customer fancies an early supper, but something's not adding up.
If he's buying food, where's his order and where's his food?
Yeah.
Something doesn't make sense about his footwear either.
Yeah, why has he got chef shoes on?
He's working here.
No, working here.
I'm so nervous.
We have a gentleman behind the counter who he's told us he is the boss, and a gentleman here who he's told us he is a customer. So we're just questioning both at the moment because they're both on the premises when we came here.
When did you come to England?
If the alleged customer is here illegally, he could be deported.
2 months ago.
Do you have any females that work here?
Oh, this guy.
No, I'm asking, do you have any females that work here? If he's a customer, he won't know what staff works here, does he? I'm talking to you, talk to me.
Because I doesn't understand. Okay.
You do understand. You do understand English.
You know, English not very well.
It's better than what you think it is.
The owner says he has a British passport, but after running his name through the system, there's no photo to confirm who he is.
Where are you from? China?
So officers accompany him home to see if he's telling the truth.
He's been a bit vague with the answers to the questions we've given him, so my officers, with his consent now, have gone to his address, which is literally across the road. We'll have a look at the passport and make sure that the British passport is his.
The owner's back within minutes. His passport is fine. The immigration officers need to check the ID of all members of staff, and one of the evening workers has dropped in.
Hiya. Hi. Thank you. You a student, yeah?
Yes, I am. A few times. Yeah.
Do you work with him?
Yeah, but I only come
It's
for
becoming
work.
apparent that both the young woman and the man are part-time workers.
He told us he didn't work here.
That confirms that.
That confirms that then.
But like,
It's okay.
The man's rumbled.
I mean, I see him like frequently, but doesn't mean he works here.
Yeah.
The young woman may be legally in the country, but if the suspect's not, he's likely to be sent home.
Nothing wrong.
Nothing.
Just confirm that it's the right name. Let's see what this is first.
The handheld computer has all the technology to determine what Amy does next.
So if he's coming to UK with a visa, it will show, using our fingerprint scanner, what his true details are. If he has obviously given us false information in regards to his name, we will then run those new details through our systems to find out if he is in fact an immigration offender. At the moment, we're just waiting for the transmission to come through from the scanner.
The real name?
Within seconds, they have a result.
The name he gave my colleague initially was a false name, and through the fingerprint scanner we've been able to prove his true identity.
The name he's given is false, and they found out his true identity.
Oh dear, so you didn't come in May, did you?
It seems the man came to the UK on a student visa, which expired a long time ago, and he's been avoiding the Home Office ever since.
He was served immigration papers.
An officer is on the line to an interpreter, who explains to the man what's going to happen.
Can you just confirm that he understands he's now under arrest?
Yeah.
The heat is now on the man's alleged employer, the owner of the takeaway, who is still insisting the man doesn't work for him.
It's for you then to prove that he hasn't been working here, okay? If found to be working here, okay, you will be fined £20,000 for him working here illegally, all right?
But something's been found in the kitchen which flies in the face of the owner's story.
He does work here, doesn't he? Yes, exactly. I just noticed a food hygiene certificate in the name of this gentleman here. The manager's been telling me the whole time he doesn't work here. I've now taken a photograph of the certificate to prove that this gentleman does in fact work here. He's now taken it down now.
The man's future now lies in the hands of the Home Office.
The more so that we can receive this kind of information, we will stop people from working illegally, and we will try and stop people, the owners of these premises, employing people working illegally. And hopefully in time they will then start employing people in the community that have the right to work.
And it's reports from neighbourhood officers on the ground which enables immigration enforcement to get results.
We look for local people to provide us with information. Our neighbourhood team in particular, and particularly in the centre of Bath, are our eyes and our ears.
As yet, none of the Bangladeshi men have been deported. Some have claimed asylum, and others are visa overstayers who are currently going through the system. But the Chinese worker was sent back to China. Both restaurant owners have been served warnings of a fine and are now looking at a whopping bill of up to £20,000 for each illegal worker. Last year, police across England and Wales dealt with over 27,000 stabbings and other knife crimes, the equivalent of around 500 a week. It's a worrying figure, and even more worrying is that many of those involved with knife crime are still in their teens. Weston-super-Mare's neighbourhood team have been dealing with a recent spate of stabbings, and today there's been another attack. Russ Millier is responding to the call for backup.
Control, it's urgent. Scott Lewis is speaking. We're going to say that something's been stabbed or has been someone cut with a knife by this group, possibly. All officers should be aware they may be carrying weapons.
An undercover officer has seen an altercation in the street between two local men and 4 youths who are from out of town. One of the two locals has been slashed on the face, allegedly by one of the youths who have all scarpered.
One of them has gone into an address, but the other three are on the run round the roads here.
The two men have been detained. One, who already has history with the police, was seen brandishing a dagger, defending his injured friend. Russ is anxious to join in the search for the 4 runaways, but not as fast as he'd like.
Yeah, we were speaking with officers trying to get a dog. The nearest aircraft is 30 minutes away.
Officers on the ground are already getting results. A youth has just been caught.
Black Carrymore jacket, the black bag.
There's one
what's your location?
Yeah, which way to the go?
Suddenly, there's a sighting.
Which gardens? Which gardens?
Another 2 youths have been seen.
Have you got what side of the road or not? Have you got what side of the road?
Yeah, they turned left and they've gone here.
Russ immediately gets a shout. The youths have doubled back through another garden. A female plainclothed officer and neighbourhood police make chase. With 3 now in cuffs, the search will continue for the 4th. And while the lad in the black jacket is being searched for weapons, Russ notices something on the one in the red tracksuit.
Face away from me.
A wound.
How'd you get that on your head?
Got bottled.
What, recently?
Last week.
Suddenly, the youth in the black jacket starts playing up. Knife crime is a big deal for police in Weston, which often involves people from other towns and cities. And all 3 youths will be taken in for questioning.
What's your name?
Don't need to know.
Right, whatever your name is, at this moment in time, you're under arrest on suspicion of possession of a blade article and suspicion of a fray.
That was me.
Okay?
The lad who was struggling with police is already on his way to the station, and Russ tries to find out more about the one in the tracksuit.
How old are you?
15.
Yeah?
Mm.
You act like an 11-year-old.
Is it? Still smash a 50-year-old man's face in, bro.
You really think?
Yeah.
And how are you going to do that?
Take these off.
Well, they were off when we got there. You didn't do anything, did you?
Mm.
You really shouldn't make idle threats.
Cool.
Keep your hands where we can see them as well. Recently, we've had issues with mainly drug crime gangs coming down from out of town, which has resulted in probably about 6 to maybe 8 incidents where people have been stabbed as a result. This young lad here, he's 15 years of age. It's what we come across all the time now. They've got no concept over what's going on, and they do think it's funny.
Information has just come in. Officers have ferreted out the 4th youth. With all 4 out-of-towners now securely in police hands, it shows the public that the neighbourhood team can deliver. At Bridgewater Police Station, officers are keeping the youths apart.
Yes, my good guy.
And while the one who resisted arrest is already being processed,
The police. The cop. You fat.
the 15-year-old is put into a holding room.
Right, listen, be quiet. They're not coming off because you just acted the clown, didn't you? But he's just showing off in front of his friends.
Did you find
I don't have to find it on you.
Now faced with the custody sergeant, the gobby teenager has rather less to say for himself.
What is your surname? You look well out this week. Do you have any injuries you need to know about?
Yeah, he has. He's got it's like a stab mark on his head from a previous incident, which has got a butterfly stitch in, and he's got a cut to his hand, fresh cut to his hand.
The 4th youth is now in the holding room awaiting his turn with the sergeant. All suspects will be strip searched for any weapons or drugs and their outer clothing taken for forensics. Much to the teenagers' indignation.
So what am I going to wear when I'm built?
These. They're nice.
Don't look any more ridiculous than you do now.
Come on, young man. Welcome.
Unfortunately, the lad now has to wave goodbye to his designer trackie.
That's it. Hood up, off. We have to give them clothing. Not the most glamorous by far, but it is clothing. Get your slippers on. No problem.
After you, I'll get them.
Show you to your room, sir. There you go.
While the lad shows off his brand new prison apparel and his belongings are backed up, Russ gets some new information from an officer still at the scene.
Yeah, go on.
The man who was wounded has given a rough description of what was used to injure him. The officer believes it could be here at the station.
Yeah, who said he's got that on him?
Russ takes a look in the evidence room.
The victim from the earlier assault has described the weapon that got him around the face as a small blade off a hair clipper, and possibly the weapon that caused the injury to the male's face.
And this nasty specimen is the dagger found on his friend, who was trying to defend him, which no doubt could have caused serious injuries.
In my opinion, that's been designed for one thing and one thing only.
The blade's 10 inches long. Carrying any knife in public over 3 inches is illegal.
And you can't have it lock in, no matter what size. So yeah, as you can see, that is well and truly over 3 inches.
The injured man refused to identify who attacked him, so there was insufficient evidence to charge any of the youths with the assault.
There you go.
But the man who had the dagger pleaded guilty to possession of an offensive weapon and was given a 6-month prison sentence, suspended for 2 years. Still to come.
Get on the floor now!
Russ is given the runaround by a youth suspected of criminal damage. And things are blooming marvellous for the local kids.
Right, who's coming to dig a hole then?
For some who like a seaside break, Weston-super-Mare's sandy beaches, entertainment and Grand Pier make it one of the Southwest's most pleasurable destinations. But some visitors take the pleasure too far. Tonight, Russ Millier's patrolling the prom in an unmarked car. A call's come in from the police control centre. Guests at a seafront hotel have trashed one of the rooms and done a runner.
Well, what have you got? I've just come around the corner from the Royal Present.
It all started when a receptionist saw glasses being tossed out of the window of an upstairs room, which a lad had checked into. Another member of staff went to investigate and found more than he bargained for. He also believes someone had been smoking cannabis.
There was 2 girls out there when I first went. One was in just like nothing but underwear, stoned out of faces with cannabis, and he's been coming up and down asking to change like 5s and 10s and 20s.
Another youth was also found in the room. It seems the one who booked it had sneaked in his friend and the 2 young girls. All 4 made a speedy exit when they were discovered.
What time is it him that's checked in?
Yeah.
What time was that?
Well, Jane left at 8, so it was around the 8 o'clock mark.
Not good.
What, this evening?
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't been there a couple of hours.
Yeah.
The lad had walked into the hotel asking for a last-minute room for the night. The only one available was a family room, for which he paid £40 for sole occupancy.
No other people were meant to be in that room.
Yeah.
One person.
Yeah. He's given a local address, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Did he confirm any ID?
No.
Yeah, he lives about 18, 19.
With that, this chap will take me out and have a look at the room, shall we?
You'll get lost in the maze if you
Russ gets a sniff of something in the air.
Oh, smell the cannabis now.
You wait till they open the door.
It looks like the foursome have enjoyed a wild party. A lamp has been broken and the curtains ripped off the wall.
So the main damage is the curtain rail they've pulled down.
Yeah, out to the wall. It's supposed to be like that one is.
Yeah.
Despite rushing to get away, they didn't leave any evidence behind.
Taking all their bags and everything?
Yeah. They've been drinking, obviously. Broke toilet roll holder in there.
The council CCTV are already aware of their descriptions and they're on the lookout for them. We'll take the crime details and go have a look ourselves, I think.
In this case, appearances aren't everything.
Jason, he was lovely when we booked in.
Yeah.
You know, that's it, isn't it? You don't know.
Yeah, no, you don't know. All right. Speak to you later, all right? No problem.
As Russ is in an unmarked car, he might be in with a chance of catching up with the group.
So we're going to go and have a look for the suspects that are going to be in and around the town centre somewhere. We have got an address which they checked in with. Chances are it could well be a Joey address, as in a false address. So we'll see what we can find in the town.
But before heading towards the town centre, Russ's sixth sense tells him that the park near the seafront might be worth trying first. In the distance, he spots a young couple sitting on a bench. The lad seems to fit the description of the one who booked into the hotel, but is it the right one? Russ carefully creeps up in his unmarked car. As soon as Russ gets out of the car, the lad spots his uniform and legs it.
Foot chase, one of gardens. Get on the floor now!
Down now, down.
What am I arrested for?
Criminal damage.
Well, can you pick me up?
Nice run, son, nice run.
I thought, oh, my arms.
Up you come, up you come.
Not my arms, man. Hey, yo, can you pull him down a bit, please? Thank you. Why are you taking pictures?
Here's our man.
Yeah.
The youth's romantic bargain break has been stopped in its tracks.
What are you doing?
Ian.
While the suspect spends time in the cells, Russ catches his breath.
A bit of a foot chase through the town, getting a little bit old for it. Yeah, caught him, so pleased with that. He's been arrested. Yeah, good job. Good job.
The youth's friends have got away, and it's hoped he'll give police the full story so they can be found. But the following day, one of the girls seen in the hotel room owned up to the damage. She was given a conditional caution for criminal damage and made to pay £70 towards repairs. She's also been banned from the hotel for the foreseeable future. No charges were made against the other three. And now Russ is considering joining a gym.
Get on the floor now!
We all try to lead happy lives, and knowing our neighbourhoods are safe wherever they are contributes to that. But when you've been a victim of crime, especially burglary, all sorts of fears can creep in.
People who have been burgled feel quite violated. They feel that their personal space has been attacked.
So it's kind of a loss of your privacy, someone invading your house. You know, it's not cool at all.
That would be devastating, obviously, because property, this is where you keep most of your valuable, precious things.
And the support of our neighbourhood officers goes a long way to allay those fears.
Neighbourhood policing is all about owning a little area. They have responsibility geographically for that area and everyone who lives there. So they really care, and they have that for several years at a time. And so you get specific people in there who really care and really want to make a difference.
In Bridgewater, PCSO Jo Farrow is on patrol. Her patch crosses a wide area and takes her from built-up streets to the odd country lane.
I've got an urban beat that I cover, so we've got a bit of everything. As you can tell, I've got some cows in the background. We've got sort of quite a high crime area as well, so there's quite a lot going on. It's quite busy.
Today, Jo's going to reassure a couple whose home was burgled at the weekend.
They've actually come across the offender, they've disturbed them, the offender's run off, so we've got a description to go by. So I'm just going to go and see if there's anything else that we can do to help them.
As well as the visit, it's also an opportunity for Jo to give advice face-to-face on preventing future break-ins.
Hiya, Melanie. All right.
Thankfully, the couple weren't harmed, but they are very worried. They were also the target of a burglary just 3 weeks ago, possibly by the same person.
What's been taken?
On the first burglary, they attempted to break into my car.
The burglar couldn't get into the car, so he damaged it instead. But he did succeed in breaking into a camper wagon and a small van before he was discovered by the woman's partner. She disturbed the thief on his second visit.
I caught him as he was trying to break into the locked container we have.
Right, okay.
The couple's separate descriptions seem to match, and police are working on the assumption that it's the same man. Jo's shown where he got in.
This wasn't a cross, he'd already taken this out.
Right, okay.
But his first port of call was into this vehicle.
Yeah.
This is where
the burglar seems to be a music fan. As well as speakers, he also got away with a radio and 2 amp leads. It's possible the thief came back, as he didn't have time to get everything he wanted on the first occasion.
He's jemmied all of this out and taken the leads out that were in there on Saturday. I came to this gate, which was his padlock, but he was trying to get into here. He had some snips.
Yeah.
So he snipped here and here,
that.
trying to get into it. But what we didn't realise until after the police had gone is he cut the cable.
It was the woman's partner who disturbed him on the first break-in.
I was shocked really, because I came out at 6:30 in the morning, just doing my normal routine to go to work, saw him in the actual van, went to ring the police straight away, and that was it, he was gone.
It was just unbelievable. I just couldn't believe that somebody else had, or the same person possibly, had actually broken in again. It's insulting. It really is insulting.
The break-ins are still playing on their minds, and they're both afraid the thief will return.
You're on edge continuously. Slightest noise and you're like, what is that noise? It's a sleepless nights. You constantly listening out for something because you're just expecting something else to happen.
You're living on a knife edge all the time.
To keep them reassured, Jo offers advice on crime prevention.
Alarms and things like that.
Little security
you can
alarms.
get little shed alarms now that as soon as the seal's broken, it goes off.
That's what we've got in the garage.
Put that on. You can put it on your gates
Yeah.
as soon as it opens. I know it would be a little bit of an annoyance to you
Yeah.
because every time you open it, but you know it's there to turn it off.
Yeah.
Jo also casts an expert eye over the area.
With the little gap you've got there, if you can put something else into it,
put
because
some more fencing on there.
anything that makes things a little bit more difficult for them. Obviously, you've got quite a lot of equipment here. We do sort of property marking stuff.
Right.
So if you want us to come back out with that, I can come back out with the pens
Okay.
and things, and we can
Yeah.
mark up. Again, doesn't stop them, deters them.
Before Jo leaves, the woman remembers another detail. The suspect had getaway transport, which was found behind
So
another
we go
vehicle.
back round the second time on Saturday.
Yeah.
Behind the camper, between the camper and the fence, he'd wedged a stolen push bike.
Okay. Did we recover that?
Yeah, they picked that up Sunday morning.
Stolen bikes are often used by offenders to escape a crime scene, but in this case, the bicycle thief / burglar quickly jumped over a fence when he was disturbed and left the bike behind, which is now at the police station.
He's now aware that you both know what he looks like, so it should stop him from coming back again. I'll get some updates anyway and I'll give you a call.
Yeah, it's nice and reassuring to know that somebody like Jo is there to support us if we need any help.
For Sharon Bennett, PCSOs like Jo are a godsend when it comes to reassurance.
From what I've seen and what hear from the community, they love them. They really do, and I certainly value everything they do. And if it wasn't actually for PCSOs, I think we wouldn't be delivering the service we do to our communities.
It's 2 weeks later, and although the suspect may still be on the loose, at least one crime has been solved. The stolen bike is being reunited with its owner.
This will be her bike, hopefully.
Thankfully, the woman had given a very detailed description.
It is really nice to be able to say, actually, we've been able to find it and it's solved the crime at the end of the day.
Oh, wonderful.
It's actually unusual to always get the bike back in one piece as well, so I'm really glad I've been able to do that for you.
Success story.
All right.
Thank you so much, Jo. God, that's incredible. I didn't think I'd see that again.
With one crime positively solved, police will continue their inquiries to find the burglar. As well as keeping crime off our streets, neighbourhood teams work hard to build a relationship with the locals, especially youngsters. Over in Weston-super-Mare, Mark Stevens is getting ready for a special assignment involving items which need very delicate handling. Pansies. Mark and Alice Durston are visiting a nearby estate to join in a gardening project designed as a holiday activity for the young children in the area.
The benefits of working with the children at this age is they can build that relationship with us, so they can look at us and they know they can approach us if they need our help, or if they've got any questions they want to ask us, and they can come and do that with us. It's just to build that confidence between us and them, really.
Sharon Bennett strongly believes in the holistic approach to neighbourhood policing.
They'll work with other agencies, they'll work with young people in the community, old people. They really look to do some of that work that isn't necessarily measurable straight away, but has a real long-term effect and a positive effect on that community.
Somerset Police are working in partnership with the Stonewater Housing Association, who, along with local businesses, have donated all the plants.
A lot of kids today get a bit of a bad rep, seem like causing antisocial behaviour when actually there just isn't a lot for them to do. So if they're spending a lot of time in their community because they don't have anywhere else to do, why not do something positive? And it just makes the community relationships a lot better, and the adults have a lot more respect in the kids and vice versa.
It's hoped the children will also take more pride in their local area and have fun, of course.
Right, who's coming to dig a hole then? Back around it in a minute. So what we need to do is take it out of the pot.
Oh, take it out. Another tap.
There we go, look. Just give it a good hand now. Just
The event is a concerted effort to make the public aware that the police do care about their neighbourhoods. And one way is by posting pictures on social media.
Say cheese.
Twitter is really a really good example of how we can get real positive messages out there nice and quickly and let people know of all the work we're doing, because a lot of it goes unseen.
More children arrive to join in the fun.
It's looking good, isn't it? Yeah. 3 plants we put in.
Another advantage to the event is it encourages everyone on the estate to get to know each other better. Some of the children are making plant pots for their neighbours.
Ding dong.
Some of the children live locally and live on the street, so they've kind of made pots for their own house. But some of the children live in the same house, so they've made pots for other neighbours, which is really cute. Really sweet.
Today has been a great icebreaker for the kids and police alike.
Yeah, it's not something obviously we get to do every day, is it? So this is a bit about community policing and getting to know the younger generation and making sure they realise we're not just here to come and tell them off or anything like that, that we're here to help.
Thank you very much.
And Alice isn't going home empty-handed either.
I have got some presents from the children, some little butterflies and ladybirds, and then a little planted pot. It says, "To my beautiful star."
We've seen today that neighbourhood policing is implemented in a number of ways, from intensive enforcement to engagement with younger members of the community. It all goes to improving the public's confidence in the police. Until next time, evening all. The friendly, caring Bobby pounding the beat has always been the hallmark of British policing.
Fantastic. This has been all right, my friend.
And has even been immortalised on film by the fictional Dixon of Dock Green. Today's neighbourhood police teams continue that tradition, but also tackle the root causes of crime head-on by targeting known hotspots.
Unlucky.
Stamping down on antisocial behaviour.
Arresting you for a public order offence.
And waging war on illegal drugs.
I can smell cannabis already.
In this new series of Neighbourhood Blues, we follow the police men and women of Somerset as they continue their quest to make our streets a safer place. Coming up, a shocking, unprovoked attack is caught on CCTV.
I saw him run towards him,
Yeah.
and the guy saying, whoa, whoa. I didn't actually see it go in.
Okay.
The neighbourhood team go undercover to catch drug abusers by surprise.
He's running. He's running. He's heading towards a train station, Redgate Street. He's running.
And a sorrowful drunk
Sorry, man, I'm begging you allow me.
is hacked off about his new living quarters.
Calm down. Stand up. Stand up.
Serious, unprovoked assaults are rare, thank goodness. But whenever one does take place, it can shock the whole community. So it's vital the neighbourhood police are seen to deal with them quickly and effectively to keep a lid on people's fear of violence. In Weston-super-Mare, an emergency call has come in. John Phippen is responding. Someone's been the victim of a senseless and violent assault. The attack happened outside an office, and the building's CCTV cameras have recorded the whole shocking incident.
The ambulance is on the way, bud, all right?
A youth comes out of the front door for a cigarette. He lights up and then walks round to the side of the building. While innocently enjoying his smoke, the CCTV camera back at the front picks up a car, stopped on the road outside. A man wearing a hoodie suddenly jumps out of the car and leaps over the wall before, for some reason, returning to his car. The lad with the cigarette is still minding his own business, making the most of his break. When suddenly, his world changes. The man in the hoodie runs back to the building and makes a beeline for his prey. He chases the youth round to the car park, where he brings him to the ground and then starts hitting him. The lad tries to defend himself, but his attacker's too strong and brings him down again. With the victim now defenceless, it appears the assailant has got something to say to him, while jabbing his back with what turns out to be some scissors, before he casually walks off. As the man leaves, he's joined by a woman. She appears to be the driver of the car. Office staff who witnessed the attack quickly come to the lad's aid.
Were you here when it happened, were you?
We were in the office, we looked at the CCTV and could see something. We came straight out and he was just going up that little path there. And I kind of said, what's going on? And he turned to talk to us and he had the scissors. He was trying to hide them up his sleeve.
Okay.
Realising the attacker had scissors makes the whole incident even more horrifying, as they can be as dangerous as a knife.
For the log, the male's been stabbed with scissors.
The air ambulance has been called in and paramedics are now at the scene. But why has such a mindless attack happened in broad daylight?
Any idea what it's about?
They were stopped at the lights and the guy sticking the fingers and smiling. So reacted and went like that too. And with that he jumped out of the car and chased him.
So did you see the stabbing itself?
I saw him run towards him,
Yeah.
and the guys saying whoa, whoa. I didn't actually see it go in,
Okay.
and then they were wrestling around.
The attacker's car, caught on CCTV, is a vital clue.
Did you see the car that left?
I didn't see the reg, but it's a grey Volkswagen Beetle.
Grey, was it?
Yeah.
They're all saying it was blue.
Like a grey blue though.
Was it?
It looked grey to me, yeah.
Okay, it's the index I need.
Yeah.
With no registration number at this stage, it's going to be difficult to track down the grey-blue VW. So John's next thought is to see if CCTV picked it up.
Yeah, can you ask if November Sierra have got a view of Street with any of their cameras, and if so, is there a new shaped blue VW Beetle about? Potentially 3 up, 2 females and 1 male.
One thing that is agreed about the Beetle is that it's a convertible, and there aren't many of those in Weston.
We've got to know we've got scan details, but apparently it's a dark navy blue. So it shouldn't be too many. We're quite away from being able to find out who our offender is. But there are checks going on now with our intelligence department, so hopefully we can come up with an index.
Finding the car will, with any luck, lead John straight to the suspect. Thankfully, the victim's condition isn't critical, but he is in shock.
Obviously, we don't want someone as violent as that walking about, so the sooner we can trace the vehicle and find out who it might be, the sooner we can get them into custody.
After being checked out by the paramedics, it's apparent the lad has had a lucky escape.
Well, have you got injury-wise, or is it just this?
Superficial wound to his back and there, but so he's got a large lump to his head.
The puncture wound's not too deep then?
No, it doesn't appear to be. It's quite small, so...
That's good. Appears our victim's got a small puncture wound to the back. Doesn't look like the scissors have gone in too deep. I think the bigger concern is where he's banged his head when he's gone to the ground. Obviously he's with the ambulance, so is he with the right people?
Suddenly, John gets a call.
CCTV have picked up a vehicle that might possibly be our vehicle. So we're just going to go off and make that inquiry now.
Later, we'll discover whether the inquiry leads to the suspect. Getting to grips with complaints about illegal drugs is one of the neighbourhood police's most pressing concerns, particularly as so many other crimes are connected to drugs.
It causes lots of problems. Yeah, you've got the people stealing for the money. You've got the actions that people do under the influence of drugs. So it just brings down everything.
If it has consequences on other people, which it does, it's not the right thing.
The neighbourhood team in Bridgewater are doing whatever they can to take out the dealers and users.
The neighbourhood officers are really focusing on those issues, if you like, that are keep coming back, and their focus is around preventing issues from occurring in the first place. So they are looking at that preventative strategy and dealing with problems in the medium to long term.
Today, Andy's team are running an operation to clamp down on people openly buying and selling illegal drugs on Bridgewater streets. Rachel Aston is briefing officers on today's plan of action.
Today's going to mainly be about intel gathering. Lots of local people complaining about drug dealing in the area, and the areas of dealing will be around the train station. We know they're using the trains to come to and from Bridgewater.
The station's not the only concern.
School Lane and the Sydenham, lots of needles being found by staff members from the school. Lots of children are accessing that area as well, so pay particular close attention to that.
Uniforms have been left behind today. Being in cities means the cops can go unnoticed and take offenders off their guard. Rachel and Jen Atkinson are in an unmarked car that also won't draw attention.
We know the faces of the people, but unfortunately they also know us. So we're staying very much in the playing car, going around the areas that we know the dealers coming from or they're likely to be doing the deals in, and we'll be acting with CCTV as a bit of a spotter car, and then directing people to the places they need to go and hopefully getting the deals and the naughty people at the time.
Colette Ranson and Kev Kurd are going to patrol around the railway station. PCSO Joe Farrow is observing from the council's CCTV control room, and she'll relay the movements of people on the street to Rachel and Jen in the car.
Got these, the three males, they've just walked all the way from West Street, all the way through the town, acting quite suspiciously. They're just hovering around, it looks like they're waiting for somebody at the moment, but two of them are disappearing off towards the Church Street direction. I'm going to keep an eye on them.
Within moments, Joe's back in contact with Rachel and Jen. She's seen someone else acting strangely.
It's really funny. That's noted. We just happen to be the Bower end, so we will do a float around and see if he pops out anywhere.
Nothing wrong with walking funny, unless it's because they've got drugs concealed between their butt cheeks. Something that has been found to be going on here.
She believes he might have drugs plugged at the moment because he's walking quite uncomfortably, shall we say.
Having drugs plugged is a rather unpleasant way to hide drugs when travelling around.
We use it to refer to drug dealers or runners that will conceal the drugs anywhere they can, usually up their backsides, because then when we search them, we can't find anything on them. Whereabouts are you?
Jen's just had a call from one of her plain-clothed colleagues.
Neighbourhood Close. An address on the actual estate that we're interested in, so we're just going to head over there at the moment. We don't know exactly what's going on, but they sounded quite rushed with it, so I'm assuming they've got someone stopped.
Uniformed officers backing up the team chased two lads. One's been caught, but the other has managed to get away. Rachel and Jen go after him.
He's wearing a blue jacket.
Almost straight away, they spot a lad in a blue jacket.
He's running. He's running. He's heading towards the train station, Redgate Street. He's running.
They believe he sold drugs to the lad who's being detained.
Where is he now?
We haven't got him on camera, but we've got the city cameras up and we've got the train station cameras up.
If the seller is from out of town, it's likely he'll make his getaway by train.
Now that's noted. It might have been that he's scooted down the alley back onto Clark's Road.
So unless he comes over the bridge, we're not going to see him. And obviously we've got the nearest highway camera.
Yeah, we just saw him Redgate Street, and as soon as he clocked us, he started running. So we thought he might come over the footbridge, but if you've not seen him, he's obviously circled back on himself.
Either way, he's disappeared. So Rachel and Jen head back to where the other suspect is being detained. Kev gives a rundown on what's just happened.
We've identified ourselves as police officers because this lad and another lad have climbed over a school fence. This lad has then decided to run off, dropped his rucksack in the lane. I've then given chase on foot to here, where he's decided to become a bit uncooperative and fight with me in the middle of the road. Just a couple of scrapes to my knuckles, but nothing major.
The desperate suspect threw whatever he was carrying down a drain.
As he sort of stopped running, he crouched over that drain and turned to face me and dropped something down through. He said it's a spice bag, a bag of spice.
Luckily, whatever it was hasn't gone far.
We've just had a look down there, and he's telling us it's spice, which is a legal high, but herbal haze has been found down the drain. Wow. A mixture of possibly cannabis and legal high. Blueberry smelling cannabis at the moment is what we got, I think.
These substances, known as synthetic cannabis, are a mix of herbs and man-made chemicals, often flavoured. But they can be stronger and more addictive than cannabis. And that's not all that went down the drain. A substance inside a piece of foil has also been found.
You get it tested when something very small amount.
Jen's got a good idea of what it is.
He's trying to say it's a legal high, but the way it's wrapped up inside the packet, we're pretty sure it's going to come back as heroin. So we'll get interviewed later on. The drugs will have to go off for testing, but good start.
With the suspect now off to custody, back at his desk, Kev takes a closer look at what's inside the foil wrap.
Looking like a brown powder. There's a possibility it's going to be heroin. A small amount just there inside the foil, which he's had concealed inside his legal high. So he may need to be further arrested for possession of a Class A substance. And then he'll be interviewed and that'll be tested following his interview.
After questioning, it was discovered that the drug user was wanted in relation to 2 other offences, and he's currently on bail pending confirmation of the substance found in the foil.
Today's been really successful. We've gained a lot of intelligence today, just from being out on the streets in plain clothes, as well as having officers in our CCTV. So yeah, really positive day today.
Earlier in Weston-super-Mare, John Phippen was responding to an unprovoked attack. A youth standing outside a building was attacked by a stranger out of the blue. He chased the youth, brought him to the ground and started punching him before getting away in a blue VW Beetle convertible. In the fight, the victim received a stab wound from a pair of scissors, but thankfully, he wasn't seriously injured. From CCTV footage and witness accounts, police have a description of the attacker and his car, but unfortunately, not the registration number. Now, all of Weston's Neighbourhood team are on the hunt for the vehicle. With only 3 dark blue VW Beetle convertibles registered in Weston-super-Mare, it should hopefully just be a process of elimination. Sharp-eyed John Phippen has just spotted one of them.
Oh, there's one at the back.
Is there?
You need to get that way.
Yeah.
If this Beetle doesn't lead to the attacker, at least there are only 2 other ones to investigate.
Can someone do some Guardian checks, see if this vehicle's known to us for anything? Yeah, that's noted, thank you.
Because the assault on the youth was so random, they need to find the suspect as soon as possible.
For update information, my colleagues going into the range, they've got CCTV covering the service area where the vehicle is parked. The worry for us is, has this person got mental health issues? Or are they just someone who's just going to go around randomly stabbing people? We just don't want those people around the town, really.
After checking the store's CCTV footage, it's discovered this Beetle belongs to an elderly couple. Weston's 2 other blue soft-top Beetles were also eliminated from the inquiry. So, over the next few days, police widen their search. And with the help of hundreds of CCTV cameras, 25 miles away in Bristol, they find the car and the man they've been hunting for.
We've managed to get a male in custody, and through using all of our resources and partner agencies like North Somerset Council and their CCTV system, as well as the ANPR cameras, we were able to trace the vehicle. Checks against that vehicle has shown the female owner, and checks on our intelligence system has shown her boyfriend to be the offender. It sends shocks through the community, and from a reassurance point of view, it's great that, from what we had on the night, which was very little in terms of a suspect, so actually through the work we've done with our agencies and colleagues and detectives, actually lead to an arrest. So it's absolutely fantastic, and now all we want is a good result at court.
Despite all the detective work, witnesses were not able to pick out the suspect in an identity parade. And with no weapon or DNA ever found, the decision to go ahead with a prosecution was dropped by the CPS. Still to come on Neighbourhood Blues. A store manager is threatened after a tussle with an irate customer.
As he was leaving, got his camera out, tried filming me, told me he was going to get all his mates, pull up outside, and they were going to wait for me and all this lot.
And a woman's the victim of daylight robbery.
Don't scream, I'm taking your handbag. And by the time that's registered and you've actually turned around, he was actually out there and running up the step.
It's fair to say that youth and fashion go hand in hand, especially urban fashion. In Weston-super-Mare, the latest must-have fashion accessory is the man bag. Working the streets, neighbourhood cops get to know all the latest trends. This morning, Russ Millier is responding to a call. Two fashion-conscious youths, who, although suspected of being involved in a robbery earlier today, have just been seen on the Bourneville estate. And the stolen item is a man bag. The victim has given full descriptions of the suspects. So, as he approaches the estate, Russ calls CCTV to help with the search.
Just checking the area now. What's the application?
Grassmere, mate. If you just zoom that camera that's on Grassmere down to the far left-hand corner, and just keep it on there. I'm going to go around the other side to see if they pop back out. He's wearing an all-in-one sort of tracksuit, and the other one he's wearing like a grey hooded top.
As CCTV keeps an eye on one end of the road, Russ spots a youth up ahead on the other. And he's wearing a grey hoodie matching the description of one of the suspects, plus the latest male accessory, a man bag.
Right. Well, stay where you are a minute. Stay where you are a minute.
Russ is familiar with most of the lads on the estate, but not this one.
Never met you before. Never seen you on the Bourneville. How long you lived down here?
How long?
Really? You known to us, mate? No? Just wear the same old man bag that the rest of them wear.
But before Russ can have a proper word with the youth, he gets an emergency call.
Leave it to it, mate, all right?
Russ had realised the lad isn't one of the two suspects. Now he's been told they've just been seen across the estate. Russ wastes no time. Two sharp-eyed PCSOs recognise the suspects and have got them detained.
That's fine. I'm not saying you have, I'm just saying...
I haven't been in town doing these.
I know. I'm not saying you have, I'm saying you've both been named, so therefore we need to speak.
This time, the youth in the grey hoodie is one that Russ knows.
Come and take a seat in my car.
Alongside providing a visible presence in a neighbourhood, the PCSO's role also includes intelligence gathering.
Being on the beat quite a lot, I get to know the regular people who are out and about, especially these two gentlemen that I've stopped today. One of them is very well known to me for other offences, so I can recognise him at quite a distance as well. And it's really handy being able to know these people locally and being able to stop them.
While the youth in black is detained, Russ searches the one in the grey hoodie.
What's in here?
I said my laptop,
Yeah.
mine in his bags.
Your laptop?
Mine in his man bags.
Right.
Man bags.
Is there anything in it that shouldn't be?
No, just a load of random stuff.
Load of random stuff.
My laptop.
As well as a possible stolen man bag, there's confusion over whom the laptop belongs to.
He lent me it.
So it's your mate's laptop?
Yeah, but you can take me to his house in Maidstone now and I'll prove it to you.
Okay.
What is this about? I haven't even been in town today.
I don't know much about the job at the minute. I'll find out for you.
Someone's obviously just gone bang, this is him and him. Look, no, we're both back out of jail. Yeah, they would just blame them.
Yeah. Bummer, innit?
Russ does a quick search of the lad.
Right, take a seat back in there.
Before taking a look inside the backpack, where the two man bags are.
Whose man bag's this one?
Russ has seen a lot of man bags in his time, but not a top-of-the-range designer one like this, which matches the description of the one stolen earlier.
Right, at the moment you're under arrest on suspicion of robbery. This morning you've been named responsible. Is there anything else in there that you shouldn't have?
But it's what's inside the bag that gets the lad into even more trouble.
You're also under arrest for possession of cannabis.
It's a good piece of teamwork. PCSOs working with us on the Bourneville, out on patrol, just come across it. You know, raided us all in at different times. Yeah, really good piece of work, teamwork. It just shows that it works.
The youth was sentenced to a month in prison for possession of the cannabis found in the man bag. Interestingly, the person who had the bag stolen decided not to press charges. The other youth was released without being charged.
It takes a special kind of person to be a neighbourhood police officer. From the PCSOs in a team up to the inspector, they all possess a determination to make local neighbourhoods safer places and a resolve to improve people's lives.
I'd bet any money you like that if we looked at their application forms for every single officer that has been part of this programme, you would see that they want to make a difference, they want to help people, and that's exactly what they do.
Kev Kurd is one of those who likes to help people. This morning in Bridgewater, he's on his way to aid a motorist who's broken down, blocking a busy main road.
It's not appropriate to sit and wait for him to get recovery. It's going to cause us more problems in the long run. Right. You've got steering, have you?
The sooner the car's out of the way, the sooner the traffic can move on. But it's going to require some manpower.
Oh my...
Not just to push the car to one side, but to manoeuvre it around a roundabout. One final push.
Oh.
And the workout's over for Bridgewater's strongmen. Kev's still feeling the burn.
I've been better. Harder than it looked. And after a day of training yesterday, my shoulders and legs are hurting now. But he's off the road. Traffic's flowing.
With the traffic on the move again, no sooner is Kev back in the driving seat when he gets another call to do with cars.
Thank you. Show us en route to that personal tackle. 4891's not code 1, so I'll make in the first instance.
The manager of a large motor accessory store has hit the panic button for immediate help. He's had a fight with a customer who tried to return a power unit, claiming it was bought from the store. Unfortunately, Kev is too late to catch him.
I'm going to ask the Nathan.
Okay.
The guy's gone now anyway, but...
All right, thank you.
Although the customer has driven off, Kev still needs to speak to the manager who pushed the panic button.
Major, a guy came in, trying to return an item, huge power unit.
Okay, like a if you show me that.
Till staff and the manager refused to give the customer a refund for the power unit without proof that he'd bought it from the store, which happens to be the most expensive one on sale at £150. Unable to provide any proof of purchase, the customer began making threats.
Gave it a lot of money, I asked him to leave. As he was leaving, got his camera out, tried filming me, told me he was going to get all his mates, pull up outside, and they were going to wait for me and all this lot. So I took his camera off him and deleted the footage. Because he filmed me in my shop without my permission.
And then that's why you've had a bit of a tumble, because he was trying to get his phone back off you. Right, okay.
It was a brave move by the manager to try to protect his privacy, as the fight could have got out of hand. The manager also explains that after a recent stock check, staff had discovered that a power unit had gone missing, and it was the same kind as the one the customer was trying to return.
So the original theft, there's no CCTV of that at all. It's okay. Similar to a product you've had stolen.
Yeah.
You don't know if it's exactly the same one.
Yeah.
The original power unit theft may not have been caught on the store's CCTV cameras, but today's incident with the hostile customer has.
He then decides to tell me then that was him waving his hand, telling me he was going to get all his mates to park out the front of the store and make my life a misery unless I gave him a refund. I opened the door and said, please leave, don't want you in the building anymore.
But instead of going out of the door, the customer started taking pictures of the manager on his mobile phone, to which the manager took exception.
So, a little bit of a ruckus down there, and then he gets up.
The customer then left, but quickly came back for more.
He climbed his car and comes back with his phone again while I'm stood there and tries taking photos of my face again. Oh, that was when he asked me to come outside so he could talk about it with me outside. Would I like to come outside and discuss it?
Have we got the registration number of the car he's in?
White transit van.
Kev takes the details to run through the PNC, Police National Computer, to find out who owns the van. All of a sudden, the manager gets an unexpected call.
Yeah? I think this is him on the phone.
Oh, it's him on the phone.
It sounds like the irate customer wants another word.
Hello?
But it isn't the customer. It's someone claiming to be his dad. He says he's not calling to complain, but to apologise for his son's behaviour.
Thank you. That's entirely up to you. If you want to return that item and you can prove, proof of purchase with whatever bank, a receipt or bank details, etc. Then
the man on the phone says he does have a receipt, and Kev asks him to pass on some advice to his son.
What he needs to do, though, if he's trying to legitimately return an item, is one, have a receipt for it, and two, if he hasn't got a receipt for it, just walk out the door when he's refused one. All right? Bye-bye. It sounds like his son's taking it upon himself to try and return that item without Dad sort of knowing what's going on.
But if the phone call wasn't enough of a surprise, Kev's just found out something interesting about the customer's van.
So they want us potentially, if this vehicle's seen again, is to stop and obtain the VIN number to make sure it belongs on these plates.
The information is that the van might have the same number plates as those registered to another transit van in Peterborough.
So they've asked us to try and, if we see the vehicle again, stop the vehicle and obtain and try and marry up the vehicle identification number with the number plates.
There was no hard evidence to prove that the power unit the customer tried to return was stolen from the store, and police are still keeping an eye out for the van. According to a recent report, police spend 53% of their time tackling drink-related crime. Dealing with aggressive drunks who've had too much to drink prevents officers like Jim Murray from dealing with other important issues. Jim's just spotted something going on up ahead.
It looks like we might have a fight just here. I'm not sure what's going on.
Hurry now!
Right, mate.
Listen to me now!
A young man is shouting at another lad who is holding on to him, trying to calm him down.
Come now! Hurry, listen!
He's angry at being thrown out of a bar by security for being drunk.
Ow! Hurry!
It's mayhem, and the lad has just lashed out.
Mate, is he bitten someone?
He just bit me.
In the scuffle, the lad's bitten the security man from the bar. Jim needs to find out exactly what's happened.
He came back several times. He got asked to move away, he stepped up again, he came through, tried to go through the doorman, sat on him, lifted him up, moved away, brought him down here, started going crazy, came back again.
The lad's drunken rage continues, but luckily the bite isn't serious and the security man doesn't want to press charges.
Sorry, do we making a complaint?
I don't
Has
even
he got
know,
you?
mate,
No.
I don't even know if he realised it was my arm he was biting, in all fairness.
Even without a complaint, Jim's of a mind to arrest the lad.
He needs to go home.
Well, I might have to. I'm just trying to find out what's gone on. What's gone on?
I didn't do enough.
He's claiming he was assaulted first, but he's so inebriated, it's difficult to get anything sensible out of him.
Are you taking him home? You taking him home?
No, he's not my friend. No.
Who's-
Mate, he'll come back.
Oi. Listen, you are going to get arrested, mate, in a minute, all right? Now calm yourself down. All right? Calm yourself down.
me first,
I understand. Now calm yourself down, all right?
The lad says he isn't to blame, but Jim's had enough anyway.
Mate, you know he attacked me first, man. Trying to get you away from the door, trying to mate, you came back several times.
I'm sorry, man. I'm begging you, please.
Come on.
Mate, just go home. Just go home.
They're
not. No, they won't, mate. They're not going to send you to jail.
Yes,
they're not, mate. No, they're not.
Give me a hand.
No, they're not going to. They're not going to. Mate, they're not going to.
Mopping up Friday night drunks takes a disproportionate amount of the emergency services time.
Come on, let me
and costs everybody millions of pounds a year.
Come on, get in the van.
I've done nothing wrong. Please, I'm begging you, please. I've done nothing.
No, sorry, we're just struggling to get him in the van. He's in the van now. Wanting custody for D&D, please. He's been arrested for drunk and disorderly. Can't have that behaviour in the town. So we're going to take him back, book him in for the night.
He's obviously well lubricated. Very fortunate. We just happened to be driving down the road at the right time. Really, it saw a bit of a scuffle going on. Managed to intervene before anybody got seriously hurt. So that's one of the benefits of being in the town, isn't it?
Hopefully, the journey to the station has helped the lad calm down.
Come on, mate. You gonna behave?
No, you got nothing on me.
Come on.
Mate.
No, I know we haven't. Just relax, yeah? Don't be silly.
No, I didn't.
All I know is you were kicking off.
I wasn't. Yeah, I was kicking off. Yeah, because
I know.
He attacked me first, mate. I swear.
All right.
All I want to do is hear me.
But he's going nowhere until he's seen the custody sergeant.
No, I'm sorry, man. I'm begging you, allow me, please.
I'll come and speak to you when you're sober.
No, I'm sober, man. I promise you, man. I won't play.
You got some gloves on, he's going straight down the cell.
Because he's so drunk and volatile, they're going to search him in the cell. But the sight of more officers...
Let's get you down the cell, mate. Come on. Come on.
Just winds him up again.
Calm down. Stand up. Come on. Stand up. Come on.
Get me now. Get me now. I swear to God, get me now.
It's easy to see how so much police time is wasted dealing with people who've been drinking. The lad will have to be restrained in order to be searched.
All right, now relax. Come on.
I've done nothing wrong. You know
Just
I
relax.
One of my young workers is a part of the newspaper.
You know what they are, tell me
I've done nothing wrong, man.
A night in the cell should help the lad see some sense.
He's obviously got himself very upset, very worked up, so we've taken him straight down to the cell and obviously searched him in the cell. And we'll leave him there to calm down for a little bit and then we'll have a chat with him.
The suspect eventually pleaded guilty to being drunk and disorderly, and his evening turned out to be even more expensive than he'd bargained for, after being landed with a fine and costs of £100. Neighbourhood police units are made up of beat managers, PCs and PCSOs. But there's another very important member of the team, the police dog. So when drugs, weapons or other evidence needs to be found, the dogs are sent in. And with noses thousands of times more sensitive than a human's, dogs are an invaluable tool for tracking down a suspect. Dog handler Mandy Gornicki has great confidence in her dog's abilities.
Tracking is one of the things that my dog does completely without my help to a certain degree. I have to rely 100% on him because I have no idea where the person's gone.
Mandy's been working with Argo, a 3-year-old German Shepherd, for a few months now. He's new to the job, so Mandy takes every opportunity to keep him on his toes. Today, Mandy's making her own scent trail for Argo to track, while a toy plays the part of the suspect.
The dog has no idea where I'm going. Yes, he's in the back of the van barking, then he can see me, but he won't see me once I go that way.
Argo can't wait to get sniffing. Getting a result all depends on the weather and the ground surface. And lush grass on a day like this is ideal for hanging on to a strong scent. Argo's doing well and is getting close to the toy.
When the dog is tracking, they're pulling. I mean, so much so that you can sometimes get rope burns. All we do is they're tracking to find a toy so they can play with it at the end with you. So it's all about the enjoyment of it. Good boy, Huxley. Good lad. You ready? Good boy.
A few days later, Argo is tracking again, but this time for real. He's in Weston-super-Mare searching for a burglar who's just stolen a bag from a woman. John Phippen is on his way to the scene.
Got a report of a burglary that's just taken place. Males knocked on the door of address, females answered, and then stolen handbag. Officers have flooded the area.
The woman lives in a ground floor flat, approached by stairs leading down from the street. And as it's a warm day, her front door was open when the suspect knocked asking for help.
So he asked for directions. I walked up with him, gave him the directions, turned around, walked back down, walked straight back in, sat down there, and I had my back to the door because I'd picked my iPad up, which I was holding, because I was going to do my grocery order. And at that point, a voice said, "Don't scream, I'm taking your handbag." Just like that. And by the time that's registered and you've actually turned around, he was actually out there and running up the steps.
While Argo tries to pick up the scent, John checks to see if the burglar has binned the handbag he stole.
That's handy, because bin days come. We obviously flooded the scene initially in the hope that we could catch the offender nearby. That hasn't led us to an arrest at this point. So now what we're doing is starting to search around on foot, see if anyone's hiding, or the stolen items been discarded.
Argo's picked up a scent trail.
So I think even if you burgled and you come home and they've been in your house, but it's the fact that you're actually in it when they come in and speak to you, that's what's frightening, and that you don't hear them coming. And I think that's what's unnerving.
For that victim, it's quite a traumatic experience. So now what we've got to do is our absolute best to try and catch this person, because it's highly unlikely it's the first time they've done it, and bring them to swift justice if we can.
While Argo continues putting his nose to work, John gets some good news.
I did. Kai, where did you find it? One of my PCSO colleagues, who's also out doing an area search, has found the bag.
The stolen handbag was discovered by neighbours, tossed into their garden. Now, Argo finds something. A purse.
We've come down from the scene of the burglary, turned left into this street. We came along a bit further and he's indicated on an item of property, which is a wallet, from a handbag that was stolen from the burglary.
Argo's training has paid off.
Is a good result. It's a good result for the victim if all the bank cards are there, because that saves the grief and the hassle of having to cancel all those kind of things.
Although the handbag and purse have been recovered, around £30 in cash is still missing. And unfortunately, the thief has gone to ground.
We've carried on going up the road. We've gone right, he's then changed his mind, crossed over the road and gone up a set of steps towards a door.
Argo has led the police to the door of some flats. But, alas, that's where the trail goes cold.
I can only say that's where my dog's gone. I can't say someone's run in there from the burglary. But, you know, it's a very good job that he's done today, because these sort of tracks this time of day are very, very rare, and there's a lot of contamination around. Hard surface is very difficult tracking, and it's very dry, it's windy, so the scent would disperse quite quickly. But yeah, I'm pleased with just the wallet. That suits me. I'm happy with that.
And Mandy's not the only one who's happy.
It was nice to know you were getting everything back bar the cash, so yeah. I thought the neighbourhood policing was brilliant in Weston. I was quite impressed with the whole thing, yeah.
Now, it'll be down to the crime scene investigators.
Going to go back to the police station, put in some forms to request CSI to come out and do some forensic work on the items we've recovered. And hopefully that will lead to a positive result and a conviction.
To date, no one has been caught for the crime, but investigations will continue. The combined work of police, the public and Argo has enabled forensic evidence to be collected, and if the suspect slips up again, the neighbourhood police will be ready for him.
The variety of crimes we've seen dealt with today bears witness to the skills required for the difficult task of neighbourhood policing. Thankfully, officers are always ready for whatever comes their way. Until next time, evening all.
The friendly, caring Bobby pounding the beat has always been the hallmark of British policing.
Fantastic.
Pleasure's been all mine, my friend.
And has even been immortalised on film by the fictional Dixon of Dock Green.
Good evening.
Today's neighbourhood police teams continue that tradition, but also tackle the root causes of crime head-on by targeting known hotspots.
Unlucky.
Stamping down on antisocial behaviour.
Arresting you for a public order offence.
And waging war on illegal drugs.
I can smell cannabis already.
In this new series of Neighbourhood Blues, we follow the police men and women of Somerset as they continue their quest to make our streets a safer place. Coming up, an elderly man stirs up trouble at a pub.
Are you really going to do that?
A down and out is on the run in elegant Bath.
He's been located by one of our PCSOs.
And a late night manhunt for a suspected burglar.
He was just stood there.
Yeah, and did you see him wander off?
You did.
He went that way. He went
He's
that
got
way.
to come round the front of the house.
Anyone who's the victim of a crime can find the ordeal difficult to fully recover from. Now there's a new way of dealing with offenders, which gives victims a far more satisfactory outcome. It's called restorative justice, where victim and offender meet up and talk through what happened.
It's 1:45 in the morning in Bridgewater in Somerset. Neighbourhood officer Kev Kurd is on patrol, seeing people are getting safely off home after their nights out. He's just taken an emergency call about an unusual sounding job.
We've had a call now from a premises out in a village on the outskirts of Bridgewater, where they've had somebody walk into their kitchen, change his clothes, leaving his wet clothes on their floor, and then walk out without any shoes, socks or trousers on.
The break-in is no ordinary burglary by the sounds of it. And the more information that comes in, the more curious the whole thing is getting. Kev's now hearing the suspected burglar has come back to the property.
He's now just returned, knocking on the door, wanting his clothes back.
There's no time to lose, as the occupants are alone in an isolated location. The property, a farm, is in a rural area on the Somerset levels, around 5 miles from Bridgewater. As Kev arrives, he's joined by other youths.
He was banging my front door just a minute ago. His clothes are here on the floor.
The farm owners, despite the shock of someone bursting into their home, are quite calm. But they can't quite understand what was on the intruder's mind.
What clothes he just walked out in barefoot?
It looks like he's put
Has he taken?
He's obviously got.
He looks like he's put some of his trousers onto my bedroom.
Oddly, the suspected burglars only stolen some jeans and a t-shirt. In their place, he's left behind some soaking wet clothes, a mobile phone, and even his wallet.
487 Control, can I have a person check off a driving licence? This is a person that's loitering around this property.
The computer checks reveal the lad is only 19, and with temperatures outside now around freezing, Kev is starting to get a little worried about him.
There could be a bit of a welfare issue with this gentleman. It would appear so he's come in here soaking wet, trousers, shoes, socks.
Coming face to face with an intruder in the early hours is a lot of people's worst nightmare, especially when they're behaving in a peculiar way.
Well, I just woke up. My husband asking who are you? And I said, well, why are you? And he was chatting to this man or something. And I said, I said to the man, stand forward, because I didn't understand what my husband was saying. And he kept saying his friend was Amy Whitehouse. And he wouldn't tell him why he was in our house. And I said, you better come out. Come out. And I just walked him out the kitchen door and locked the door on him.
I appreciate he's taken a pair of trousers and gone. We can cover that issue later. My main concern at the moment is...
He's got a thin T-shirt on and bare feet and a pair of trousers that are too short in the leg on him.
You know, and like I say, you've got Reams around here. He clearly doesn't know where he's going because he's soaking wet up to his waist. So he's either been in your little ring, the ring there, or he's been in the one down by Court Farm, hasn't he? Did you see him wander off?
You did.
He went that way. He went that way.
He's got to come round the front of the house.
We'll go and wander round.
Let us know when you've got him.
And then obviously we'll try and recover your trousers.
No, don't worry about it. We're not worried about that.
Technically, it's a burglary, but whether he's in the right state of mind to know that he's committing a crime, I don't know.
No, I don't think he does. I don't think he knows that he's done something wrong.
I wonder if...
And I said to him, why are you holding that tube of toothpaste? And he just didn't seem to... And he gave me it back. He didn't understand what he was holding.
The Somerset Levels are a massive low-lying floodplain, crisscrossed with rivers and drainage ditches called reams. It's vital the lad is found before he falls in any more water or gets hypothermia. The neighbourhood team may well be expected to hunt down burglars, but, more importantly, they have a duty of care for people. So this has now turned into a search and rescue for a young man whose life could be in danger. Suddenly, across the fields, Kev spots something.
Do you know who lives in those houses? That light's only just come on.
Right.
On that house. So that's the row of 4.
Yeah.
See?
There is a public right-of-way beside my house. It goes across this field to a gate and comes up by her house.
It goes up towards the pub.
Security light just came on. The lady in this house is saying that you could get to that house along the brook on a public footpath. He may have walked that public footpath back to that row of houses.
Kev calls up his neighbourhood police colleagues to assist him, checking out the light at the house.
That light coming on was interesting, to say the least. At the moment in time, I'm not worried about him being found as an offender. I'm more concerned that he's out in this weather in a short-sleeve T-shirt, 3/4 length trousers that don't fit him properly, and bare feet, completely lost, under the influence of either drink or drugs, and nowhere near home.
Kev and his colleagues arrive at the house where the light was seen.
A light in the back of this house came on when I was in her back garden. She said, oh, that'd be their security light. I thought it was a light inside the address. I'm going to just knock on their door and see if I can have a look in the back. Hello, sorry to alarm you. Can I have a quick look in your garden a minute? Is that all right? Sorry to wake you up at this horrendous hour. Yeah, that's the light I saw. Come on, that one there. Right, he's not in here then.
There's no sign of the missing man.
Cheers, guys. Cheers. If you do see anybody, then just let us know. Okay. All right, thank you. Cheers.
Kev needs more help, so he's calling up for dog support. With the temperature still dropping, it's imperative the man's found as soon as possible.
This point onwards, up to the house with a dim light at the far end, is a public footpath and a brook to this side. He was last seen in the back garden of the house up there by the occupants, and they said he walked round to the back, and Mark's walked majority of this part here.
If the dog can get any sniff of the missing intruder, he'll be on his trail in no time. But there's still no sign of him, and Kev's getting increasingly worried about his welfare.
I'm quite cold, and I'm stood with trousers, a jacket and a stab vest on and a shirt on. He's out in potentially a wet T-shirt, 3/4 length trousers, barefoot, lost, drunk.
Coming up, the search, with more officers and the police helicopter, goes on. Finding missing individuals is a big part of the police's job. As well as those whose welfare is of concern, the police are also responsible for tracking down people who have warrants out for their arrest, usually for failing to turn up at court. In Bath, Luke Keenan and Roger Parker are on the hunt for a man who failed to appear in court this morning on suspicion of begging.
Looking for a guy who's wanted on a failed to appear at Bath Magistrate, so if he's there and answers the door, then he'll be coming with us.
The suspected beggar is well known to the Neighbourhood team, and Luke and Roger think they know the address where they'll find him. The plan is to arrest him and take him straight back to court, while an official from the Housing Association is here to repossess the property. But it appears no one's home.
Hello?
Hello, somebody here?
The door's unlocked, and inside, the place is like a tip.
No, there's no one in.
The wanted man's not here, but the disgusting conditions he lives in are plain to see and smell.
There's some suggestion from the local housing authority that the property's been used for drug use.
Further inside, that suggestion is confirmed. The flat's clearly being used as a drugs den.
Got some needles which appear to be uncapped down there. And lots of burnt spoons.
It's hard to believe anyone can live in such appalling conditions as these. Piles of rubbish and drugs paraphernalia are strewn about everywhere.
There's some more uncapped needles in the toilets here. I'm not going to go too far into it.
And most worryingly, dozens of used syringes, which could be harbouring all sorts of dangerous diseases, litter the floor.
No, I can't get to the kitchen because there's clothes all over the floor. It isn't particularly hygienic. As you can see, there's lots of different bits of rubbish all over the place. People's main focus, it appears, when they're on drugs is the drugs, so they tend to let their hygiene slip around the property and things like that. I don't really want to risk walking all over it in case I get stabbed with an uncapped needle.
The junk and waste has spread to the outside, and with the flat next to a main road, it's not only an eyesore, but also a health hazard.
As you can see, there's quite a few empty bags of rubbish and various bits and pieces around.
The squalid state of the flat has upset a lot of the neighbours. So they're relieved the Neighbourhood team and the Housing Association are finally doing something about it.
I've had conversations with a couple of the neighbours and they're really, really pleased about it. And regarding the mess outside the house, that's also going to be removed, and that'll be the tenant's responsibility to do it. So it's moving on, making the place a little bit more pleasant for the people who live in and around here.
It's estimated that there are around 30,000 people wanted by the police on warrant at any one time. Fortunately, today's missing suspected beggar isn't going to be one of those for much longer.
We've located the gentleman we were trying to speak to in the last address. He's been located by one of our PCSOs.
There's no time to lose for Roger and Luke. The man's been found wandering with his dog in Bath city centre. Before anything else, the man in camo needs to be relieved of any syringes on him.
Right, where's your pins, mate?
Oh, they're all over, innit?
All over. Open it. No, we can't put you in the back of the car, so we can do it just there. Put any of your pins.
While Roger gives the man the once-over, Luke tries to get to grips with his dog. But he's got a problem.
No, I haven't got a lead.
Luckily, Luke's trousers are a snug fit, so he's liberated his belt for the job.
So the gentleman's going to court, but obviously he can't take his dog with him. So it didn't have a lead, as you can see, so I've improvised. I'm going to be taking the dog to a friend of his who lives just around the corner. Dog's going to be safe, and he's going to court.
When he appeared in court later that day, the man pleaded guilty to begging. After receiving a fine totalling £270, he was released back onto the streets and was quickly reunited with his best friend. Earlier, we saw how a 19-year-old suspected of committing a late-night burglary had disappeared.
There could be a bit of a welfare issue with this gentleman.
Shoeless and dressed in only jeans and a t-shirt. It's gone 3 in the morning, and in freezing conditions, the neighbourhood police are now very concerned for his welfare.
It's escalating to a point where it's going to be potentially a high-risk of missing person scenario.
The police helicopter has been called in, but it isn't picking up any trace of the missing person on its thermal imaging camera. Kev's next port of call is a nearby pub.
I'll go knock on the pub to do their outbuildings, Skittle Alley, etc., anywhere that's open to the back of these fields. Just in conversation with the landlord of the Thatchers. He's gone in there very drunk, very wet, taken off his wet clothes, taken a pair of trousers from inside, and then walked off out of their property, but we don't know where. He's miles from home, he's very intoxicated, so we're just checking the houses and the back gardens of this area. We've done the houses.
Is that the toilet?
There.
Yeah, there's a toilet there.
And we're on the back.
No, there. That's the ladies, that's the gents.
Okay.
Do you want the microphone and everything going there?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Hang on.
Thank you. It's the police. Are you back here? You're not in any trouble. I'm just more concerned about you being out in the cold in inappropriate clothing. Just searching the grounds of it now. Having spoken to the landlord, they've not seen anything. Just checking. He's got a couple of caravans out the back here that are sort of storage spaces more than anything. So we're just searching these for the next couple of minutes.
As Kev goes round the back, good news is coming in over the radio on his earpiece. The missing man has been found at last.
Just heard on my radio that we've obviously located the male. I don't know under what circumstances, but I have just heard the back end of a conversation that he's been arrested on suspicion of burglary and is on his way to custody.
The young man, cold and wet, has been arrested on suspicion of burglary and taken to the police station in Bridgewater, where he's been given a change of clothes before being booked in. His discovery was as much a surprise as it was a relief to all the team.
The chap just suddenly jumped into the middle of the road, starting waving his hands to flag us down, and obviously we realised that was our chap. So we stopped, got him in the car, made sure he was all safe and well.
The lad hasn't offered any explanation for what he did tonight, and all he remembers is that he had been drinking in Bridgewater before getting lost on his way home.
He said he was cold, but in the back of the police car, he soon started to warm up, and there was no obvious injuries to him, so we were sort of fairly happy about his condition.
We've had a happy ending. Although he's in custody, it's the happier of the two endings that were possible in this event. So yeah, he's in custody, he's safe, he's alive. It doesn't bear thinking about what was the other option.
A good outcome for Kev and the lad. But what of the farm owners he burst in on tonight? Find out later what happens when they come face to face with the intruder again. This time, it's his turn to be in the hot seat.
I'm just going to do introductions.
Prisons in the UK have reached bursting point. To alleviate this situation, prisoners are often let out on licence after serving just half their sentences. Whilst this solves one problem, it can lead to another. If they act up again in any way, they can often be recalled to prison immediately, and that can be a headache for the police.
In Weston-super-Mare, a man sentenced to 16 months in prison for attempting to rob this convenience store armed with a knife has been let out after serving half his term. He has now broken the conditions of his early release and he has had his licence revoked. But rather than hand himself in and go straight back to prison, he's done a run. It's vital for the safety of the community that the Neighbourhood team recaptures him as quickly as possible. Russ Millier is on the hunt for him.
We're just going to look at his last location and see if we can find him.
Police were chasing him earlier through an estate where his girlfriend lives, but he got away.
60 Juliet, he could be anywhere now.
The man was in a red hoodie and grey joggers. A description of his girlfriend's come in as well.
He's got dark brownish hair dyed with a reddy hint to it.
So he could be anywhere on this estate, right?
Yeah, that's something.
He is known to me, yeah. We had dealings with him, in fact, for the offence which he went in prison for. He's actually been in prison for the armed robbery from a shop in Weston, and as a result, has come out after serving a time in prison on licence. He's obviously breached that licence at some point because they've recalled him, which means it's a straight arrest and it's straight back to prison. So he's going to be off on his feet as soon as we see him.
There's no knowing if the man is dangerous or not, so the Neighbourhood police aren't taking any chances. They've put a watch on his house and are out in force looking for him. One of the team, in plain clothes, has spotted his girlfriend again.
Along a footpath back towards Morrison's, going past Plumley Park now. Yeah, we're on the bridge, I think. Thanks.
The girl is in the park and on her phone, possibly to the suspects.
Where by you, mate?
As Russ approaches the park entrance, he takes extra care not to spook the girl.
Yeah.
He hangs back, while his undercover colleague comes over to keep tabs on her.
I think that's a
Hey Joe, I'm in company 91. So at the moment, we think we spotted the female, your girlfriend. And the reason we're sort of keeping it a bit low-key is we're hoping that she's going to meet up with him. So we're letting the plainclothes officer go on ahead a minute.
The man knows the area is flooded with cops, so it's a game of cat and mouse as he desperately tries to hook up with his girlfriend again. She's just on the other side of the trees, still on her phone.
She's now, looks like she's being directed down towards the back of Morrison's, which might indicate she's been on the phone to him and he's trying to get her to where he is. So uniform are just sort of staying back out of the way at the minute. We're letting the plainclothes officers do it. She's gone down the alley. She's gone back on herself. Oh, right, okay.
Sitting on a bit of concrete.
Russ closes in on his prey.
She's just sat through there.
And if all goes to plan, her boyfriend he's hunting will soon show his face as well.
It's a bit of a waiting game now. Hopefully he pops up somewhere.
Fortunately, Russ can see the funny side of lurking in the shrubbery.
Best things come to those who wait. Shameless in a thorny bush.
All of a sudden, the girl is on the move.
Stand by, stand by. She's gone left back on herself, mate. Around the back of those houses.
She's headed towards a friend's house.
Okay, I'll come and join you, yeah?
Yeah, if I can see.
Who's in there?
Just a female.
Hello.
Russ takes a quick look around for the fugitive.
That's my room.
That's your room, is it? Yeah? He's not hiding in there, is he?
Where are we going to find him then?
You know what? If I knew, I'd be there with him.
Yeah. You don't know where he is?
I have no idea, no.
Has he got a phone?
No.
You ain't got a phone?
No.
No?
The only phone we've ever used together is my phone.
And you've got that?
And I've not got that. That's at my friend's charging with me. No, it's got my back.
Like,
Yeah,
you ain't got
Kel's
any
not.
phone on you?
You haven't got a phone on you?
No, I've just explained. My phone's at my friend's house charging.
I've just seen you on the phone.
I've seen you on your phone.
Twice.
So now you're lying to us.
No, I've not got a phone on me.
Do you remember this conversation we had before I went in prison?
Yeah, go on.
About you harbouring a fugitive and you could get arrested?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, I'm not.
So you're bordering doing that at the moment
Well, he's not with,
with
me
what you're
in this,
doing.
so I'm not harbouring a fugitive.
Yeah, but you're not helping any situation.
He's
Are
not with
you?
me.
You're with him. You lied about being on a phone.
I'm not with him, am I?
You were with him.
Yeah,
weren't you?
all right. I
Okay.
didn't lie about being on a phone.
Just for information for the plainclothes at Roundabout, she's off. The search continues.
And now the search is joined by the police helicopter and a dog unit.
So she's clearly on the phone to him, she's clearly working with him to find out where he is. But she won't be telling us, that's for sure.
Later, Russ gets a tip-off from a member of the public and the net closes in on Weston-super-Mare's most wanted. Most crime is seen as something for which the offender must be punished. However, there is an alternative way of gaining justice, one where the offender accepts responsibility for what he or she has done, and the victim of the crime gets a more satisfactory outcome. It's called restorative justice, and it's carried out by bringing both parties together, face to face, to discuss what happened.
Restorative justice gives victims a voice. So it gives them the opportunity to explain to an offender how they've been affected by harm that's been caused.
The young lad we saw earlier, suspected of breaking into a farmhouse and stealing some clothes before disappearing, is here to meet the couple he caused such distress to that night. The session is run by two experienced mediators.
Right, thanks very much everybody for coming today. I'm just going to do introduction.
Because of the sensitivity of the matter, the encounter takes place away from the cameras. An hour later, the mediators are pleased with how the meeting went.
I think it was very emotional today.
Yeah.
A lot of emotions come out of it on both sides.
Yeah.
And that's what restorative justice does, because when a victim meets an offender, that's what happens. It really works. It really works. It's very, very powerful.
The young lad wasn't charged with any offences for what he did that night, thanks to the victims deciding they didn't want to press charges.
Good evening. Remember me? Easy card.
After coming face to face with their intruder, they're now ready to talk about the experience.
You happy to sort of tell them about what's happened?
Yeah, because it is a bit of a shock, wasn't it, when we walked in and seen his face. It's like just being in the police station, just because he was still in the lobby.
Yeah.
And we were meeting there, and it was like...
Just brought it all back home.
Yeah, straight away, and it was really quite scary. I think your stomach does a flip, I must admit. But once they've got him to sit down, your confidence grows because you really don't know the outcome. But you feel really protected, and you really feel that you can speak and say what you feel and not be afraid. And it really, I truly believe it helps.
Because you guys, as the victims, are key to this process. It's about you guys and getting closure on an incident, whether it be bizarre or a serious criminal offence.
Yeah. When he was talking to us and telling us what little tiny bits he could remember.
He didn't remember a lot of it.
And he said, to my much, he's tried and tried to remember and he can't. And he's frightened himself, and I don't think he would do it again.
No, he didn't realise.
I really think he would think twice before he got too drunk.
The way you've sort of come across is quite refreshing, because there are others that will say, no, throw the book at him, I don't want to speak to him, he's a piece of dirt.
And I really don't think in this society
We knew in
it's going to help.
our own hearts that it was out of character. It was like, so you don't do that. It's
No.
something you don't do. You don't go into somebody's house.
The couple have their own poignant reason for wanting to reach out to the lad tonight.
I actually lost a son of my own that had
just had a couple too many and fell asleep at the wheel, and I lost my boy that day. And I think I could put that across to him really well, and I think he really took it on board, because that is the time when the tears were in his eyes, wasn't it? And he just was so remorseful. And I said, look, my son didn't mean to do that, and you won't have meant to have done it, but trust me, your parents, what you'd have put them through. And it really got to him. I truly believe he understood the pain he could give by just stupidity of drinking just those couple of beers too many.
We now know the impact it's had on you guys.
Yeah, you could see it.
He had to relive it.
Yep.
And then face us. So it was hard for him because of the tears.
Yeah,
you
it
could
wasn't
tell.
easy.
Because it must have been traumatic to come and face us. Yeah. He won't forget meeting us. He won't forget that meeting where we could all sit and talk and explain how we felt. He really...
He understands now.
The uninhibited discussion tonight between victims and offender has been a great success.
I'll show you guys out.
Yes, please.
The couple were able to express their concern for the lad, who in turn was left in no doubt about the gravity and impact of what he'd done. Earlier, we saw Russ from the Neighbourhood police team track down a girl.
I'm not with him, am I?
You were with him.
Yeah, all right.
Who he thinks might be the key to finding her missing boyfriend, who is wanted for recall to prison. With the police chopper hovering overhead, a new lead comes in from a member of the public who wants to help.
On the railway line, past 470 measuring.
Roger that, Justine. Helicopter draws attention to the members of the public. They start looking out for things that are going on. And the member of the public's now seen a male hiding in the undergrowth by a railway line. It's clearly going to be him. So now we've got units directing to go to that railway line and search that area now. But you'll find that not just is it good beneficial for us, it makes the public more aware.
Russ catches a lift from a colleague to where the man was seen.
Right, that'll be a footpath there. Oh, we'll jump out here.
Russ searches the undergrowth, but there's a problem. If the man he's hunting has gone over the fence, he could be in real danger.
I've walked the length of it. It goes to thick undergrowth that you can't get through. But I'll certainly pull out to the other side.
To be on the safe side, they're going to shut down the railway.
Any trains that are inbound or outbound of Western now will be stopped until we release the all go to let them go.
The dense bushes beside the railway tracks have foiled the helicopter's cameras up above. So plan B is to send in the dogs.
There's a 7-foot fence, but it could easily get over that fence, to be fair. So we've just sent the dog in now to do a check of that undergrowth. If he's in there, his best bet to put his hands up, because you ain't going to want that thing coming at you.
But the trail seems to have gone cold.
The dog hasn't really indicated anything, apart from the fact the plank that we saw as we were going through up against the fence looks like a clear sort of pop-up, if you like, to get over that fence. Probably come from this direction, into the bush line, over onto the railway lines and down, so he may well be over the other side now by the Mead Vale, so we're going to have a look over there.
Suddenly, the fugitive breaks cover and has been spotted by the police up above. It's a race to capture him.
All units to the train truck.
The runaway convict has finally been caught.
Well, I think they've got over that bit of wood there, hasn't it? Unbelievable, isn't it? So there he is. Great result. So caught on the train line, exactly where the member of the public said.
The fugitive is on the fast track back to the big house. But first, he wants to make a last phone call.
let me get my phone. It did say I can use the phone.
Who are you ringing?
My missus is
Oh, what your missus? That ain't got a phone on her.
ringing me.
Do you want to have a quick chat with her, shall I?
No.
Well, yeah, because you're under arrest.
Yeah, go on then.
Russ has got a hunch about who is on the other end of the phone.
Oh, hello. Fancy speaking to you on the phone.
That's her
Yeah,
friend's
it's
phone.
funny that, isn't it? Okay then, well, in custody, so see you again.
Thank you. Oscar Delta 34.
Bye-bye.
Let me have a chat with her. Yes, baby.
It's the end of the line for the fugitive. He's looking at
I am
another
just
spell
waiting
behind bars. Thankfully, the neighbourhood team have swiftly got a potentially dangerous offender off the streets. The prison licensing scheme enables them to round up anyone who carries on offending and shows little regard for the rare chance of liberty they've been given. Having been released on licence after only 8 months for the attempted robbery of this convenience store, the fugitive is now back inside for another 8 months.
Just go to show, really. We had the full strength out today, helicopter, dogs, plainclothes units, uniform units, and it worked. It all came together. To be fair, it was the nail in the coffin for him was a call in from the community, resulted in a fantastic stop.
Every day, neighbourhood officers face all sorts of criminal behaviour, from violence and drugs to vandalism and robbery. And more often than not, the offenders are young people. But sometimes it's our more senior citizens that get to feel the long arm of the law. Tonight, in Bridgewater, PCSOs Sarah Jane Meese and Dave Schofield have just begun their shift.
Here we are on Somerset, it's freezing cold.
A call has come in from one of the town's CCTV operators about a disturbance he's following at a pub in the town centre. An elderly man is a bit worse for wear and has been ejected by the bar staff. He's now fallen onto the pavement after exacting his own retribution on the pub.
A male has broken a window and now he's sat on the pavement, I believe, in the high street somewhere. But I heard elderly male mentioned.
68-year-old male.
Looking at it, his age, isn't it?
Being drunk and breaking windows isn't the kind of behaviour you'd normally associate with someone approaching 70. A traffic officer arrives and the damaged window is pointed out to him. But his main concern is for the elderly gentleman, who still hasn't got up.
I just want to go see if he's all right. Oh, wait, yeah. Because obviously we can't.
All of a sudden, the man jumps, sprightly, to his feet. There's nothing wrong with him, apart from having had a skimful. The officer is now going to arrest the man for criminal damage, but he's at that awkward age and wants to argue.
Are you really going to do that? Are you going to waste his time? Do you have funds to take the window? I didn't break it. I deny that. You're under arrest.
The man refuses to take the blame for damaging the window.
Okay. What?
I can take those for you, sir, if you like.
No. Listen, you're wasting your time.
We've got better things to be doing, haven't we?
You have. You're quite right.
While he's taken into custody, Sarah Jane talks to the barman, who explains how the man was being a nuisance and then lost his temper.
You need to crack that window up there.
After being shown the door.
Well, because I closed him out with locked doors. He wouldn't leave. Just right here, this crack along this line. Just started knocking on it and got a bit aggressive.
A passerby witnessed what happened.
I did see commotion going over and, Bridgewater, you got to look.
Absolutely.
The council's CCTV operators focus in on all the pubs and potential hotspots in the town, looking out for trouble. But they probably got a surprise when they saw this. After lashing out at the window, the drunk senior citizen tried his best to get back into the pub, but he was quickly booted back out, which is when the eyewitness ran over. During the tussle at the door, the man fell to the ground. But when he was offered help to get up, the drunk was having none of it.
Tried to restrain the guy, he fell over, I tried to pick him back up, and then he stayed there playing the old man rule, wanted the police.
And it wasn't long before the old boy got what he wanted. It turns out it's not just the window he's damaged.
I believe before he left the pub he also pushed a glass across the bar, smashing it across the other side. He's obviously got a few drinks on board.
The Sargalout was put in a cell overnight to sleep it off. In the morning, after he sobered up, he was given a formal police caution. Police community support officers are often described as the eyes and ears of the neighbourhood team. They spend the majority of their time out and about, engaging with the public, young and old, in a variety of different ways.
Certainly our PCSOs, really good skills around talking to young people. They're used to doing it, and actually they make inroads with our young people. And actually, we have a big emphasis in going into our schools, so our secondary schools and our junior schools, to engage with them early on and to deliver some key messages around stranger danger, keeping safe, and all those sort of key messages you want young people to hear.
Today in Weston-super-Mare, PCSOs Kimo and Jacob are visiting Walliscote Primary School to talk to the youngsters about stranger danger.
Good morning, class. Good morning. We'll be talking to you about stranger danger. Who is a stranger? I live in the same street with you. Am I a stranger? No. I am a stranger. I live next to you, but do you know me? Yeah, but I can still be a stranger. Someone you do not know is a stranger. Someone you do know, but that makes you feel uncomfortable, is a stranger. Okay? Is he a stranger?
Mrs. Green.
Who is Mrs. Green?
Not only do these visits teach the youngsters about the potential dangers of speaking to strangers, they're also a great opportunity to show a more friendly side of the police and for the PCSOs to get to know the local children.
Yeah, and you look good. If you teach a child, about what the dangers are, they can go home and tell their parents, and then the parents will know as well. So now, if their parents tell them, for example, just go to the park and play, the child will turn around and tell them, Mom, I'm not, it's not safe for me to go to the park on my own. So at least that will help the parents to understand what are the dangers out there. So if I come around and say, if you are playing in the park and I say, can you help me find my puppy?
Say no.
Say what?
No.
Today's message seems to be sinking in.
That's very good.
First, if they tried taking me or grabbing me, I would kick them and scream and just run away. If the stranger just offered you something, you would say no. And then if they tried to get you, you would just scream as loud as you can or call the police and run back home.
Keep away from people you don't know. They are called strangers. That's very good.
It's really important that children see the positive side of policing and that they have a really good idea from a young age that they can go to police officers when they need it. But also to get that message across from someone different, because often we give that message to children, but it just reaffirms it hearing it from somebody perhaps that's in uniform and has that sort of experience behind them as well.
Whether it's improving public confidence by engaging with communities or helping victims and offenders with rehabilitation, the Neighbourhood team frequently demonstrate a depth and array of police work far beyond the call of duty. Until next time, evening all.
Rất là mong người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Hôm nay mời cùng mình hoàn thành bức tranh
những loại rau củ ngoài trời đằng sau mình sẽ vớt cho nhà nhé. Rồi nó xanh. Đổ thêm mì xanh. Tôi có chương màu hồng. Vậy là mình đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh rồi, theo dõi hết video của mình.